Hi, State City, Vermont volunteers. Instead of another email, I thought it would be easier to do this by video. I hope you agree, and I hope this is not painful for you. I wanted to clarify some points about the paperwork documentation that we're asking you to use at the Stay Steady Vermont events. It is nothing like the documentation you labor over all day, every day. It's easy. I just want it to be clear what we're asking you to do. So there's two sheets of paper. One we're calling the take-home sheet, and one we're calling the bring to doc sheet. We're going to start on the bring to doc sheet. I have a color version of it, but it comes out just as fine in black and white. The take to doc sheet looks like this on one side and this on the other side. We're going to start on this side. This is a participant's self-assessment. These are questions that the participant who's come to be screened answers themselves. And the site coordinator is aware of the fact that they need to encourage people to fill out their self-assessment either as they're waiting for the slideshow to begin or as they're waiting for their turn for the screening. Because there's information on this self-assessment that's critical to you categorizing them and into their category of risk. So this is the self-assessment. Are you at risk? That participants should be filling out before they get to you for screening. I'm going to go from here to the take-home sheet. The take-home sheet has results on one side and recommendations on the other side. We're going to go to the results side. The results side, this is really the meat and potatoes. This is the working document. I keep this face up while I'm doing the performance measures, and I enter the results from the timed up and go, the results from the 30-second chair rise, from the table of norms for age, I enter that number, and I enter the how many seconds they spend in the highest level position they get to in the 4-stage balance test. And I circle whether their results make them at risk based on that particular risk factor. So if the timed up and go is greater than 12 seconds, circle yes, that's a risk factor. If their 30-second chair rise time is lower than norms for their age and gender, then that's a risk factor. If their 4-stage balance test does not make it to 10 seconds in the number 3 position, then that's a risk factor. Circle yes. There. That's the results page. I'm going to put the take-home sheet down now and go back to the bring to doc sheet. On the other side of the self-assessment is this long list of risk factors, a more exhaustive list of risk factors. This does not get entirely filled out by us. There's elements of this that we're going to fill out, but it's called the take to doc sheet because we want the docs to pay attention to the things that fall into the medical categories. We want them to pay attention to medical conditions, to their medications, and further down to their vision and to their postural hypotension. We are going to fill in on this form exclusively their falls history, any falls in the past year, any worrying about falls or feeling unsteady. And the answers to those questions come from, guess where? The other side. They've already filled these out. These are questions that the patient answers on their own. So those first 5 questions have the key to these 2 significant risk factors in coming up in stratifying risk. Then it's an easy effort to go from the results page here to the yes or no questions here, whether they're the timed up and go 30-second chair stand or 4-stage balance test. put them into a category of risk. So you check those, yes or no. With those pieces of information up here and these pieces of information down here, you're able to crank into that algorithm and come up with a high, medium, or low risk for falls down here. But those are the only things that need to get filled out on this side. The falls history questions, the gait strength and balance questions, and the overall fall risk. So when you have that overall fall risk, now you've got good information to go back to your take-home sheet and make recommendations, because the recommendations flow from that high, medium, or low fall risk. Now, some of these recommendations are global, universal, everybody should do them, and some of them are a little more nuanced. I won't go over them completely, but of course, 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. Seeing primary care provider is either a do it tomorrow sort of thing, make an appointment and make right away to go over this if they're at high risk or medium risk without evidence of good compensatory strategies. If they're at low risk, they can just take this information to their next visit with them. Whether you want them to exercise in a community or to exercise in a community exercise class, or see a PT to get ready for that community exercise class. Clearing hazards from the home, there's an opportunity to recommend an OT if you suspect that that's going to be a big issue and they need help with it. Getting vision checked is a universal thing everybody should do. And then there's a blank for other. So if you see really terrible footwear or evidence of really poor foot care, if somebody is really at high risk and has not done anything to compensate, that's an opportunity to recommend an assistive device. Whatever your professional judgment is, if you see a glaring need for something that's not mentioned in the rest of the recommendations, please insert it there. So that's it. That took 7.5 minutes. I think that was better than digging through another email. Hopefully a little more entertaining. I should have had some dancing bears or something, but I didn't. My dogs didn't even bark this time. But there you are. I hope that's helpful, and I really, really am excited for you to go out and meet your community at the Stay Steady events. People are really receptive to this message. Show them that there's things they can do to lower their risk factors and keep themselves steady, and try to engage them in a really active lifestyle that's going to help them age with grace. So thank you for everything you're doing, and email me with questions. I'm available till about 10:30 tomorrow morning, and then off and on the rest of the week. All right, take care. Bye.